Good morning, happy Monday, and welcome to another episode of my Writer Corner. I am your host, heather.barone, and once again, I am coming to you from Lake Top on Bear Lake out in Stockton, New York. It's another glorious day. Not quite as cool as it was last Monday, but still not as warm as they were promising. Hopefully that changes as the day progresses. And once again, I am the only one on the lake. Oh, it's glorious. I finally got my button gear and got myself together and did some writing. I got about 2 pages done last night on chapter 10, which this chapter is the elves. Right now it's following Saya, one of King Tarek's generals, and some interesting things that I've decided to go with on that. But yeah, I'm kicking butt in microbi and in statistics. I've got mid to high 90s average in both classes. So I am really excited about that and getting myself organized and keeping myself organized and doing my best to study and be prepared for all of these exams that are coming up. My first real exam in both classes is going to be next week, Tuesday, on the 24th. So here is hoping that things go well and I don't muck it up entirely. On the bright side, my statistics professor allows us one 3x5 card with whatever we want written on it, so I can, put all of the information that I want onto that and take it with me and take my test and hopefully not fail, because as I've said repeatedly, I can't math. Oh, hello, Mr. Beaver. I really wish I was able to turn this around. I had a little button on the screen that allowed me to do that so that you could see what I'm seeing while I'm talking. Because a beaver just came out of the underbrush there, and here, I'll show you the general area. He came out of there and swum a little loop and went back into hiding because he saw my scary, ugly self. So, yeah, that poor little guy. It was a little bit foggy this morning when I went out on the water, and when I first came across, it was some fog mist floating across the top of the lake. It was beautiful. But the sun is more than clear of the horizon at this point, and as you can tell by the backlighting, so that you don't have to stare at my ugly self the entire time that I'm recording this, it's a glorious day. And while I should probably go home and sleep after I'm done here, I will most likely try to get myself in gear and get some writing done. My daughter came home. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. I'm thrilled that she has come home. Been cleaning out a room. My younger child has been helping with the yard, the kitchen, the entryway. My dad stopped by to help trim out some of the problem areas around the yard with his big old chainsaw, which my children were apologizing profusely for on Saturday when I only had about 5 hours of sleep because I had to go to my other job, wherein I put in my 2 weeks notice because the practicality of working 3 jobs is just utterly exhausting me. And after my paycheck got botched, and just all of the nonsense that is going on in the politics, I'm more at peace at my overnight job. It's bigger facility, more people, fewer politics, because I don't have to see anyone from the office monkeys, except occasionally on Monday when I'm walking out the door. And that's just a, hey, have a great day. Or, oh, you're waiting till 7? Cool. But neither here nor there. Will free up some time for me to sleep and hopefully write. What else? Rocking it with microbi. Absolutely. Not doing horrible in statistics, which again is confounding. Both of my children are home. My psychotic little Havershire had to have his feather duster trimmed because he decided it would be a brilliant idea to pee on a burdock bush. Yeah, so his paws had to get trimmed and his feather duster got trimmed, and my children say that he now looks like an anglerfish, with a little sticky uppy thing, and quite frankly, I am inclined to agree with them. As far as literature goes, I just, not half an hour ago, finished listening to the Book of Elsewhere, written by Keanu Reeves and China Miéville. I promise I can words, even though I've been up for more than 8 hours straight and worked an overnight shift. But yeah, it is in connection with his graphic novel Berserker, which can be found on Amazon. Yes, I am totally plugging Amazon. Don't hate me. I'm not selling out, I promise, even though I use Amazon all of the time. It's an unhealthy addiction. I'm trying to get it under control, I promise you. It's just not going so well because, they've got all sorts of stuff that I would like and would definitely put to use if I would actually be awake for more than a couple of hours at a time. But anyways, so yeah, exciting. I'm working Wednesday night, overnight from 11 until 6 a.m. because I cut it close. The last time I got out at 6:30 and had an 8 a.m. class in Jamestown, and the only reason that I made it was because I sped like a maniac for half of the time. Now, I have since found a shortcut that should allow me to get out from behind the slow driving idiots that are always infuriating me. But, yeah, we'll see. And anyways, audiobooks, I started the series by R.A. Salvatore. The whole Drow elves, dark elves, Forgotten Realms, D&D. Yeah, that one. I'm only about 10, 15, 20 minutes into it as I was listening to it while I paddled across the lake here. But so far, it sounds like a great book. So I just might have to listen through the entire 700 book series because, hey, I've got the time while I drive and am half awake at waiting for time to clock in at work. So, but yeah, I've got a lot of writing to do with this current chapter, the elf chapter, because I only had like a page and a half written, and there's so much that I want to cover, so much that I want to accomplish. Finish following Saya, maybe follow Avery a little bit, definitely do some work with Tarek, because let's face it, the Elf King has got a lot of rebuilding to do. For those of you who have been following me right along, you know that these videos are kind of spoiler alerts. But if you have bought my books and read my books, the first two Way of the Fist books, King's Champion and Royal Emissary. Yeah, apologies for that one. Hold, please. I forgot to turn off the ringer. Always fun. Always a brilliant move for me. Not quite sure why it did that ringtone, though, instead of my regular ringtone. I will have to look into that when I get home. But yeah, so Elven Civil War is over. The Elven Nation is in the process of rebuilding. The Elf King has a lot to sort out because while his father was a traditionalist to a certain extent, he was trying to open up the Elven borders for the rest of the world. And Tarek definitely wants to continue that and do more with it. So as a result, I am going to be doing more with that eventually. But in the meantime, following Saya as she brings as many of his children back to the palace as are willing, and lovers, mistresses, what have you, because he never married, because he's a giant man whore. I definitely have a lot of work with that chapter to do. That's probably going to take me the next couple of weeks at the least. So yeah, that's gonna be the big chunk of extra free time. Did a little bit of research about myself because I, as I have mentioned many times, am not a graceful person. Case in point, I was walking out of a utility room at my original nursing day job and bumped into a door handle. This was about 4:30, 5 o'clock Saturday afternoon. Sunday morning, I went to pick up the microphone to run through the music with my father, and I had a doorknob-shaped bruise on my arm. So in talking with the nurse at my full-time job now, my night job instead of day job, we'll call that the night job. My new facility is my night job. And she's like, well, you've got, resources. Why don't you look it up? So I did. And none of the side effects include bruising. In fact, it has a little bit to do with blood flow because it is a calcium channel blocker. For all those of you who have taken anatomy and physiology, you know what a channel blocker is. But it also dilates the blood vessels, which I suppose allows it to flow to places of trauma more quickly. So yeah, in a way, I guess my hypertension medication could be having that effect on me, even though it's not one of the expressly explained side effects. But my train of thought has been derailed. Way of the fist. Ally's deceit. I'm finally back doing what I wanted to do with that and getting myself into gear writing. Super stoked about college. Super stoked about my night job. Kind of annoyed with my employer for my home care job, but love my home care client. Love my girlfriend who's my counterpart with that. Glad I got to see one of my girlfriends from the ice cream factory and have coffee with her yesterday morning. Hoping that, schools start to open their minds and the teachers stop being butt-faced heads about some things. But, it is what it is. Everybody's overworked, understaffed, underpaid, except for, these politicians and corporate fat cats. But that's all I'm going to say on that subject because I have no intention of waxing political except in my books. But I did, thanks to Amazon, get myself a semi-political t-shirt. Now, hear me out. All those of you nerds may or may not understand it. It says Lebowski 2024. And then the little caption is, "This aggression will not stand." Now, you may not get it. That's okay. those of you that do, hopefully you'll get a chuckle out of it. Got a couple of other nerdy t-shirts, and that's the extent of all I'm going to spend my money on, because bills and groceries. Food is important. You know, my stomach is currently growling while I'm sitting here talking to you. But, and I should probably go home and sleep, but I'm not going to, because sleep is for the weak, and I've got too much to do today that I want to get done. And so with that in mind, I am going to bid you farewell and record my podcast while I'm still out on the water, because it's a glorious day and I have the whole entire lake to myself. So I'm going to enjoy it and take advantage of it. And I hope y'all have a safe and productive week. Thanks for following me. Like and subscribe. Have a good one. Bye-bye.